Hey,
Hey Evan, welcome to That's All Folks.
thank you. It's an honor to be here.
So I asked you via DM on Twitter if you'd be interested in talking about your new endeavor into influencing.
Yeah, yeah. It's a new thing that I've gotten into.
The other
Um,
day you announced you were like, I'm starting a new account. This account is going to change. Like the account that I've been following you at Evan Rogers for a couple of years now. You're saying that's going to change a little bit. You're going to become a little bit of a brand on there, and you made a Finsta Twitter that's your real self or something now, and your main account is now your influencer account.
that's a pretty good recap of what's happened. Yeah, I mean, I think it's really difficult to be sort of the entirety of yourself on Twitter right now. Um, I think that it has been different in the past, but right now, if you know, have any sort of inclination in terms of using Twitter professionally, I just don't think that 100% authenticity actually works from a practical standpoint and a professional standpoint.
So it's not really like you're becoming a brand. You're just saying that this one is going to be more safe. You're not. So you're not becoming an influencer.
The I don't so listen, I think that being an influencer chooses you. No, I'm kidding.
Oh,
No, I'm joking, man. The thing that I want to accomplish, like, so you recap that well, except for there is one aspect to it, which is that I renamed the account Daryl Sweatt. And one of the things I want to do is not just you know section off one piece of my personality, which is a more marketable, more public facing one. The thing that I want to point out is just how sort of preposterous this whole situation that we found ourselves in actually is.
so you're telling
Um,
me Daryl Sweat is trying to expose influencers?
I wouldn't say expose influencers. It's and really like my target audience is not influencers. It's
Okay, yeah, that's I guess what we should get in. That was my first question. Is
yeah.
what's your demographic?
So my demographic is, or the one that I'm going for
Like this is
is,
Daryl Sweat's graphic
yeah.
demographic.
This is Daryl Sweat's demographic.
Okay.
Um, it's someone that is like, I was in California last year for what was it? It was the iMac Pro announcement. It was in San Diego. I don't remember where it was. San Diego. It wasn't actually in Cupertino, but
Okay.
the I had the chance to meet up with some of the chef squad while I was
Yeah.
there, and it was really interesting because like a lot of them were Apple scholarship students, right? So like these people had sort of like won a lottery. I don't know if it was a lottery. I don't know what the details of the competition were, but they were all brought there by Apple because they were either developers or they had some kind of educational academic reason to be there, right?
Okay.
It's interesting
That
because
was like who like when Sam had a meetup?
yes, I mean he just summoned this crowd. It was amazing,
Like
but like
sometimes Sam will be like, "Hey, here's where I am this time. Meet me here. Do meetup, right?" Like that. It was one
yeah,
of those.
exactly,
Okay. How
exactly.
many? These are all like kids or what?
That was the thing that I did was not really ready for. So I had never been to one of these things before,
A
really.
meetup.
To
I've been to two
have
Sam meetups, so I know exactly what it's like.
Yeah, but the only other
Kind
ones I
of,
had been
at
from
least.
that
I don't know.
was when like other influencers or uh, yeah, influencers were there with Sam.
Okay.
So it was like a big collective. It was difficult to tell who was there for who, but in this case, it was a straight up brand name Chef Squad.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, the thing that surprised me was is that they were so young. Some of them, Sam and I decided to go get some drinks, and some of these people came along.
Mm-hmm.
But some of them weren't even old enough to order drinks. And
Mm.
the really interesting thing about it is that like these kids were really smart. really smart, tack sharp, and I think they are. To me, they were really excited. They were really excited to be there at Apple first and foremost. They were really excited to be there with Sam, and like they're not. These kids are not dumb. Like they're really smart. And one of the things that I think is important is to kind of like let's not get too carried away with building up identities around brands, and that goes for people's personal brands as well as corporate brands. You know what I mean? Like there's a really interesting crossover here. People at that location for Apple and for an influencer, and there's not necessarily anything wrong with it. The question is just like, where do you go with that, right? And that's something that I'm sort of trying to, just shine a light on, like have fun with for a second. I don't know if it's going to be a permanent thing, but what I do know is that like being more positive on that verified account is something I want to do more. Is just generally speaking, like it's just a good thing to do. But Daryl exists so that we can like do something with this, like live in this culture a little bit.
So you want to play with the idea of what it's like to sort of like be a brand, but you want to do it from a safe location, which is through Daryl Sweatt.
Absolutely. I mean, like the idea, I think, that people's personal brands are in perfect alignment with who they are is we just know that to not be true. We just know that that's not true.
Wait. Was your answer to the question what your demographic is like smart kids that aren't old enough to drink yet, but like maybe late teens? Is that what you're saying? Are you saying that you're trying to take Sam's fans, like the same demographic?
Well, there's nobody takes fans. That's not how that works. But
you only have so much time in the day, so
I guess that's true. I mean,
Sam's content or your content.
Like, those people are the people that I that follow me on Twitter anyway. Like I've, to a certain extent, I already reached them.
Yeah. But you're saying, but those kids, they can't handle real Evan. They only can deal with Daryl Sweatt. No.
That's not what I'm saying at all. The reason why Daryl exists as a differentiator between my actual personality, is because it's just an exaggeration, a caricature of the same thing that everyone else is doing. Like people are pretending on their accounts, and but they're not making it obvious that this is obviously a joke, or this is a fabricated identity that's like more brand safe and marketable than others. They're doing that sort of under the covers, and I just tweeted out on my account that I was doing it.
So, it's kind of like, so what you're saying is Daryl Sweatt is you mixed with the archetype of influencer, which is all these things like positive, aspirational. There's like some basic ingredients that people sort of implicitly understand is what an influencer is, and it's like half you and half that.
Yeah,
like a Evan influencer hybrid, resulting in a lichen that is Daryl Sweatt.
Yes, perfect. You're nailing.
Zach from the Trashcast is here. He's about to comment.
Actually, I'm here on behalf of Zach Show Live. Please go ahead and rate me in the Apple Store. How you doing?
I'm doing great.
Okay. Quick question. I don't know if you guys already touched on this. Daryl Sweatt. I like that. Where does this come from?
So this is a combination of two absolutely meaningless, stupid jokes.
Actually. Okay. Sorry. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, that's a good question. So Daryl was the name of a sort of like very glitchy IRC bot that we Rondo and I got to use when we were early days at Verge. It was very funny.
What kind of bot is it? I don't know bots. What
Rondo,
is
do you
this?
want to sort of describe it?
I don't really. The bots are kind of like they're just like algorithm brains. Like they weren't. It was just like they had a few. It was like basic chat bot, right? And
Like
it would
a
do a
program?
few. Yeah.
Very basic.
Okay, got you.
I don't really understand what they are either. Really, I never got into them.
I'll just give you a quick aside so that everybody knows what the heck we're talking about. When we worked before Slack ever existed, we used IRC, and for this fun stuff that you can do in Slack right now, where you can like trigger some kind of action. Basically, we would do like commands and be like vet, and then the whole room would sort of change modes for a second until we were done. So it's just Slack operators, whatever.
Okay.
Yes, and then Sweatt, like it's just a joke that Sam and I came up with like a super long time ago.
So Daryl was the name of the bot.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Did Daryl go crazy? Wasn't there one that they had to like? It was like runaway artificial intelligence, and they were like afraid of it.
It ended up banning everyone out of the IRC.
Was that Daryl?
Yeah, Daryl ended up accidentally banning everyone in chat.
Oh, so he like fucked shit up?
Yeah, he's like a renegade bot.
Oh, damn.
They say that he might be out there right now. We don't know.
He's kind of like the iRobot, like Will Smith. Like he's kind of like the
or
outlier.
if you're watching Westworld right now, he's like the Dolores or the Arnold or something.
Exactly.
Okay, cool. And Sweat's kind of just sexy, right?
Exactly.
Kinda, yeah, and it's like
something is sweaty, it's good.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah. So it's cool. I mean, I think we're gonna like play with it a little bit.
So like, I guess is like, what do you bring to the influencer identity? Like, how like my question that I wrote down is, how are you diversifying your life brand?
What are some of Daryl's beads of sweat? We want to get in and see each one of those.
So I think that like there's a lot of low-hanging fruit, right? So one of the things that I think is so particularly ripe right now are Gary Vaynerchuk inspirational media formats. And so like
it's kind of crazy how that's so like in right now. I don't know.
It really is. And I mean,
it blows my mind.
So one of the things that's specific to Gary though, so like there's this oeuvre of like hype gurus. I guess that's what you could say.
Yeah.
There's more than one. Gary's not the only one, but the thing
so many.
Yeah, the thing that's interesting about Gary is that he has very specific advice about how to use social media in terms of like how many times a day do you post Instagrams and how do you format the Instagram. In fact, like there was a hilarious video that he did the other day where he was just like, I think people are grossly undervaluing text. Like you got the image, and let's say that like realistically, you're 80% there visually, but like that's leaving 20% on the table. So he's Gary, I love you. Please talk to me at some point. I have so many questions for you. That was Gary. But like, so what you see is you see this sort of trickle down social media strategy where, Gary starts posting these square images. Of course, they're square because that takes up the most amount of space on the timeline. You can't leave that on the table. What are you going to leave?
Wait.
On Instagram?
On Instagram, on Twitter, everywhere, guys. You got to maximize your visual brand on a social media timeline.
Oh, okay. Shit. Okay. How do you do that exactly?
You just post a square. Like he's just saying, don't post a 16.
So don't be like making any weird shapes for your like a long. Isn't a square what everyone posts?
No. So like straight out of the camera roll, it's like 4x3 or 3x2.
Oh, okay. Widescreen smaller.
It isn't good.
Yeah, it gives you less vertical room
Well, what about, or I guess if it's like a photo, you could post those in larger rectangles. That's more.
Yeah, the tall rectangles on Insta do get
That's
taken
true.
more space.
I'm gonna start posting more tall boys. See if that.
Yeah, I like the tall boys too. I intentionally post tall boys.
I think they're obnoxious a little bit though.
I kind of like that about them.
Yeah.
I don't know. It better be good if you're posting a freaking tall boy.
Guys,
Okay, so wait. Go back to the trickle down strategy.
Yes. So like there are all these people who have read God, I wish I remembered the name of his book. It's like Get It or something. I don't know.
Gary's book.
Crush It, I think. I don't know. Yeah, Gary's book.
Okay.
And like there are people who are taking that advice like verbatim. So they're like, oh, I just changed my Instagram feed. I'm like posting every day now. Like, there's a couple different levels. Like there's people who take the advice and sort of put their own brand into it. And then there's people that just like straight up take the advice and just do exactly what Gary does in terms
It's
of like
easier just to take the advice. If you
take a profile picture of you or get someone to take a picture of you with a DSLR and then in the negative bokeh space, write some shit like feeling positive today.
Yeah.
I'm feeling so positive today. Give back to others, something.
Is that really like his direction or is it just... Does he say stay positive? Is he like a person who says like positivity only?
I mean,
or is that just what he does?
No, he says it pretty frequently, though his quotes on Instagram and like in images are a little bit more put together than that, but he tweets a lot too. And he has a pretty consistent positivity message.
What's bad about the general? So is Daryl Sweatt gonna somehow teach real social media strategy? Because I know that's sort of your background for real is like social media strategy.
I don't really think that's the scope. I mean, if people want to be in on that.
What's your final point about the trickle down strategy though? Or like what are you trying to say about that?
I mean, I think that it's really easy to make fun of. And you can do both, right? Like you can start from a standpoint of like making, like poking some good fun, making it look a little bit more absurd. But at the same time, like, the only thing I tweeted from Daryl's account today was just that it was just about teamwork, right? And so like I actually completely believe that. So like that's a message from a standpoint of positivity. The teamwork is good. But the reason that I tweeted that and the reason I tweeted it for Daryl is that, one of my reflections on like what's so sort of gross about the industry of influencing is that it is very individually focused, right? Like there are definitely people who have teams.
Team 10.
Team 10, but like,
we're starting a team, so just throwing that out there.
Hell yeah, that's what I'm talking about. But what if the name of the band essentially was Rondo? Like it's different. You know what I mean? When your personal brand requires a team, it's a different thing than when you actually work with a team towards some kind of common goal that's not just money for one person.
Wait. What? Are you trying to tell me Team 10 isn't a real team?
No, what I'm saying is that there's a difference between people who organize behind large personal brands, right? Like, of course you need to do that. Everyone needs to do that. Like, if you want to scale up what you're doing, that's one thing. But a lot of people are not doing that. All I'm saying is that most influencers are working solely with themselves. They're not part of teams. I think that is sort of what's interesting about Casey's 368 is that it's sort of a loose team. Interested to see what comes out of that, but
I think it's like a space for him to try out getting a permanent team, though.
I think it's more like there can be multiple teams that he's also in. He's in a lot of teams.
Did you guys? We could completely pivot to that, but like, did you watch the Patreon guy's new video where he sort of explains what's going on with 368?
No.
did. He didn't. I saw the episode of Casey Neistat where he talked to him, but they didn't talk about what it was.
Yeah. So the
That
Patreon
was
guy
such a popcore video too. Like it was crazy.
Did you guys see any of his older videos? They're good.
Who?
The Patreon
Oh,
guy.
I know. I didn't see any.
He's good. He's like a pretty nifty musician.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, his beard was just really unkept.
Well, you should watch his
I
new
don't
video
know,
because
like, I'd like
he
to
goes
try
out to
keep
his
up
like
his image.
rickety shack like studio in the back, and I'm into it. I'm very into
Okay.
suburban
I don't know.
rural suburban Patreon CEO.
Well, okay. So wait, what about the pitch? Can you give me like a quick what was the pitch in like a couple sentences?
Yeah, so the he doesn't really answer it specifically, obviously, but he poses a question, which is that what if his first thing is he reinforces the notion that he thinks that there should be less of a gap between influencers and the money that they're actually make, or creative people and the money that they make.
Yeah,
Right.
Right. That's his central hypothesis. He revisits that first. Then he asks a question. He says many times that nothing is certain, but he asks a question. What if somebody wants to be a full-time creator, but they need $3,000 or $4,000? I'm pretty sure that's the specific number that he said. $3,000 or $4,000 to make that jump, to quit their job and to get started. That was pretty much the extent of the detail. To me, that sounds like an incubator. That sounds like a talent incubator on the East Coast.
Yeah.
That could be great. I mean, that could be great.
I don't really know what, what are they doing to so we still don't know what they're doing together. They just are.
Yes, correct.
He's probably just going to provide the business plan.
Okay. So
sorry guys, I'm vaping. I don't know if you could hear that.
A little bit.
No. Try to get the microphone a little bit closer. Let's hear that a little bit. I could use a little bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah. And got everyone at home, if you're vaping, just thank you.
Just release that cotton, my guys.
Pull one long pull. 1, 2, 3. Now hold that in. 4, 5. Okay, now out.
Oh, this is like breathing meditation, but with vaporizers.
So, getting back to Daryl Sweatt, what
does he have like a tagline or anything?
I actually did have that written down. Yeah, any slogans?
Guys, if you can think of one, please send it to me. I know we don't have any taglines yet.
Yeah.
I mean, sweat it out. It's because it's Sweat. You can think.
Oh wait, no, guys! It's time to get sweaty.
Time to get sweaty.
I'm gonna make you sweat, Daryl style.
Daryl style. Exactly.
Sweat it out.
So definitely, yeah. I mean, that's great. I mean, you can do a lot with that.
I don't know what your main one is.
Yeah. I think that's something that comes with time. You got to really feel around for the tag.
Yeah, you don't want to.
Oh yeah, but you didn't answer the question too. What's your demographic? What is different about Daryl Sweatt? If Casey Neistat is okay, he's this guy that's I don't know, 40 something, goes around New York on a boosted board, whatever. I don't know what his brand is. Logan Paul is a college boy. Jake Paul is almost an adult baby, just a straight up baby.
He's just a high school, he is what he was on that show, just a crazy high schooler.
And
God,
they all have their one word that you can sort of describe them. What's Daryl Sweatt?
I mean, listen, dude. I don't have. Do you want me? You pay an ad agency $20,000 for a one word answer like that. We're not there yet.
Well, I think you need to have something that concrete in your head.
I agree, but also I don't think that those brands that you mentioned are very strong. You know what I mean?
What do you mean? Jake Paul's the most popular YouTuber there is.
That's not true.
He's pretty popular though.
He's pretty popular, but he's not the most popular YouTuber. I just want to put that stake in the ground right there. But you know,
Who's the most popular YouTuber? PewDiePie?
I'm pretty sure still, yeah. The thing is that their personal brand is strong, but like the things that you mentioned are just not the, you know, especially in Jake Paul's case, like his.
I was just joking about what those actual brands are.
I got you. Okay,
I would.
That's what I mean.
That's what I mean.
Though, is that like when you.
I would say he does a little bit. I would say he kind of describes his brand that way. He knows that his audience is fucking like toddlers some of the time. That's why he has mini Jake Paul on. He had like a scary clown video the other day with babies. Like he's basically has the same audience as the Finger family.
I mean, say what you will about mini Jake Paul, but he's pretty funny.
I honestly have not kept up with the videos. That's a subscription that I just don't really need.
I've only seen Instagram mini Jake Paul, but like it's just like a baby with like fucking the same haircut.
I mean that's cool. Like some
absurdity. Maybe you need a mini Daryl Sweatt.
That's what I'm missing. Exactly.
I guess so. What are you gonna? Okay, here's maybe how we can get to this answer. What kind of media are you gonna make with Daryl Sweatt? Is he only a Twitter account? Is he gonna have an Instagram account? Is he gonna have YouTube videos?
Definitely not YouTube videos. That's so high touch.
Sweat is not YouTube.
Yeah, that's
wow. Okay.
That is not
maybe.
That's maybe. Yeah, I would say that. Yeah. I mean, I have limited confidence that Vine 2 is like going to work actually, but you know, we could spin up an account there. I think there's some good gags to be had.
Okay, where else is Daryl Sweatt? Where else can I follow him?
It really, I think we should just keep it on Twitter and Instagram. Let's not. I don't think the world needs that much Daryl. Account? No, but we need.
You have an Instagram account for Daryl already?
No.
Okay.
Stop making it hot.
I just didn't know.
Somebody's gonna fucking camp the account now.
Okay.
Jesus.
That's true.
Just go grab it. I'm not gonna publish this for like I don't know, at least 10 minutes after we finish.
We know we've been like flagged by Anchor. Anchor's kind of out for us, so like we're on like the hot plate right now. So like a lot of people like it only says that we get like maybe 10, 12 listens at most, but I think a lot more people are hearing what we have to say. So
wait, what?
No, we're just joking.
Okay, cool. I was like, wow, that's incredible.
That is a real scoop for somebody like you, like lying about analytics.
I have my suspicions, and I feel like they feel right, but
fair enough. I mean, I've got questions for you guys in terms of like where is That's All Folks going, and like what is this group that you guys are doing? Because like,
oh, you listening?
I think you've got a good thing going on, and like the YouTube channel is pretty fresh.
Yeah, we pretty much. It's really hard to edit and make YouTube videos. It's like a lot of work, but this is pretty easy. That's the main reason.
We've been doing podcasts to like procrastinate on like editing videos.
Nice.
No, I don't know. Like I like I don't know. It's just basically talking about whatever. Like it's like I'm gonna do it anyways. So like if someone could get a little bit of enjoyment out of it, then like why not?
Yeah, I don't really get sad about love view counts because like
it's weird to just like because we just mainly we started just calling each other like just like saying what's up, but now like my normal like phone conversations are like I'm like speaking to the public, so I feel more important. I don't know.
Hell yeah.
I feel like I like think about what I'm gonna say more instead of like my normal phone conversations where I have no like real emotion.
Right.
So
yeah,
I mean the topic base is cool. I mean, I think that like the internet just looks so weird to me all the time now.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we do feel like that there was this authenticity that we had at some other point in the internet, but I'm not so sure. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't. Well,
everybody's like, it was so much different when I moved MySpace, and like everybody really, that was the real me. I could have so many more options to express myself.
Well, I think it's really, we have both worlds at the same time, sort of, kind of like PewDiePie is still an old world YouTuber. You know what I mean? Like really successful, but like his style is a lot more mature than, I'm not talking like topically or tonally. I mean, like it just has existed for a lot longer.
Yeah, like the YouTuber to a camera, sort of like almost
Yeah,
like a radio host, but you see their face.
exactly. And like it's just so different than the like highly kinetic. Actually, I mean, kinetic is not even the right word. Like
I'd say,
frenetic
are you
pace.
saying Logan Paul's videos?
Not just that, you know. Like I mean,
I feel like the zooms are pretty kinetic.
the zooms are great.
They're always zooming.
I support the camera work, to be honest. Like, yeah, I'm fine with that.
Me and Zach shot a vlog yesterday. Zach's growing some weed in the garage. And we shot a video of him like buying all the stuff and putting it together. And I was doing some zooms, like just like a Logan Paul video. I was having a good time, and I watched the footage back, and I was like, "This is exciting looking. Like he's not talking much, but this is I'm interested."
It feels right. Yeah, just get that tight crop for no reason.
It's just like it stays alive. Like if the person's being boring, the camera's like popping around. It keeps it interesting.
So I totally respect it, but it's just so completely different than like a stationary camera with like edit gags. Which I'm very into. I love an edit gag. Like that's
But Logan Paul has edit gags too. There's both.
That's true. That's true. I'm a real sucker for the clipped audio interstitials. Love that.
Just like things blown out. Just horrible sounding. Like they've been playing lots of stuff on like children's recorders lately.
Yeah.
But like on a bunch of recorders.
Yeah.
I do like that too. No, there's so much about like vlogs that I'm like, this is way better than anything that's in any Netflix show, any movie. Like there is something that's just a lot more fresh and funny and like good about YouTube and YouTube editing.
It just is compelling, man. Like you're right. Like my attention is just so much more focused on that than like, I was even watching like Westworld last night, and don't get me wrong, I was super stoked about that, but like, you know, interesting way to spend an hour versus like, you know, 6 YouTube videos. 6 YouTube videos flies by.
Yeah. I found myself watching YouTube videos while watching Westworld. I really like to maximize my time.
It's intense, but I mean that's the thing is the like, you know, these formats are kind of exploding out of everywhere. Like they move really fast. I think, like the reason why Daryl Sweatt is even an interesting project to spend time on is because like this well just keeps on giving. Like,
yeah, it's true. I know. Like I agree. Zach's been doing a vlog. I started one kind of, but like it is true. You just want to see like, you see the good parts about it, and you want to participate in the good parts.
Absolutely.
Even though I feel like there's a lot of problematic parts about it.
Yeah, I've vlogged for a minute. I'm on like a little hiatus right now. Last couple months.
Sorry guys. No, it's been a while.
I'm trying to get my head right.
Yeah. It's really hard. Like it's
tough. I mean,
keeping the momentum is nearly impossible.
I'll tell you right now, Daryl, just wait until, you know, you're a couple weeks in, that some of that emotional labor starts hitting you on a rough day. You know, maybe you didn't have coffee that morning, spiral out of control, and next thing you know, you're taking a month break.
Listen, and you know what? What do you guys think about that? Because, you know,
burnout.
Well, about burnout, but also just like you have to fight through that wall. And anybody who's like, you know, every YouTuber at some point puts up a video like where they do a Q&A or something, and they're like, what's so hard? How do you keep doing it? And then their answer is always like, you just got to get past that wall. You got to get that past that wall, and then it's fine. Even if you don't want to do it, you gotta keep doing it.
Where is the wall? Like that's what I'm wondering, because like I mean, I'll post like, you know, on like 3 Instagram pictures in a week, and I'm like, I'm gone. Like I need a whole weekend. It's off.
Well, you know, like I made the mistake of like I take my personal Instagram account very seriously. You know, like the only pictures that are on there are some things that I think are legitimately good. And like I probably put 5 months, like all of winter between the last time the last picture I put up was like a Galaxy Note 8 picture that I took.
Yeah.
That came out in like October, and I didn't post one until 2 days ago. And like,
holy shit. Must be a fucking good ass picture of Galaxy Note.
It was. Let me tell you. Like, I just didn't feel inspired by photography during that time.
I understand that completely.
You know, and there'll be times where I'm just like, you know, you just have the vision, you want to step out on the street, you've got something that you're looking for, and it's awesome. And then, you know.
Yeah, it really staying positive is pretty hard. I would say that's probably. I mean, I don't know, Daryl.
I think all the what I noticed over the last couple months, all the everyday bro. Well, another question I was going to ask you was your post frequency, but the everyday bro people, Jake Paul, Erica, Logan, I think David Dobrik, a lot of the people who had like an everyday schedule, or David Dobrik had a 3 days a week schedule, they all took a break lately. Like they all burnt out. And I feel like it was after Logan Paul took his break on it, they all saw like, oh, his fans are still there, like he can, like, I don't know. I think they took that as like a message, or at least they saw that as an example of somebody who took a break and it wasn't the end of their career or whatever.
Yeah.
But did you notice that too? Like in January, February, they were all taking hiatuses. I
mean, it makes perfect sense to me. Like, you know, January, February, you know, that's such deep winter. Not really for those. I guess they're all out in LA, so never mind. Actually,
I mean, it's still pretty dark. It sucks here. Those are the worst months.
That's true.
Yeah,
I think that's what it is. It's just like it hurts to keep going on that stuff when you have nothing left.
It was weird though. They all stopped it. I think it really was like a domino effect. Like they saw each other doing it and be like, oh, I guess I could stop for a sec.
So
I think some other people did it too, but I can't remember. But I noticed a lot of people were doing it.
Well, just to finish up that point, I just don't think that, and this actually reminded me of the impulse that led to Daryl in the first place, which I should share with you guys. But, you know.
Is that going to be appropriate for our podcast? We have young viewers or listeners.
Yes.
Okay. Want to make sure.
No, I mean, I really don't think that there's any other sort of like artist classification that does art every single day that isn't also part of a team. You know what I mean? Where you can either take breaks for yourself if you're a freelancer, or you know, you have company vacation, but like it doesn't matter if you're in film and music or whatever, like you are not publishing every single day. And like, I don't know, man. When I say that I think it's impossible, I think it's actually literally impossible. Not, you know, I don't think that Casey is superhuman. I don't think that any of these people are superhuman. I think that this is actually an impossible.
Casey took in that other guy to help him. He edits now too on his newest vlogs. Yeah. So I was gonna say all the influencers, the big ones at least, have teams. They have an editor and a shooter and maybe multiple editors. So, and they don't. I mean, at least what I've seen, they don't. They still like to make it all about the personality, the individual. It's not about like the shooter, the editor. They put them in the video sometimes, but it's kind of hard. The editor's like pretty much in the edit bay all day.
Yeah, but you also still have another person to bounce off of whenever you're just, you know, in any kind of video, like your whatever B-roll like might be pretty good because you're having more people to like just interact with in general.
Oh, also like playing to the person holding the camera is so much better than a camera on a tripod. Like,
I agree. It's more fun.
Just seeing the crack of a smile from somebody behind the LCD is great. You know?
Yeah.
But
But I do agree, the workload is too much for one person. I mean, I think that's why they take breaks, and why it was like so dramatic. They like Jake Paul only took a break when he was like, I need to go down to Parkland to check out the students down there, and like I don't stop taking I'm not gonna quit this vlog lightly. Like this is so important that I need to quit. But I swear he just wanted to quit for a little bit.
Yeah, dude. I mean, why would you not? But the thing that really got me started with Daryl was something I really wanted. I wanted to go on sort of a angry rants about artistic integrity as a sort of a concept, but a couple things held me back. If you've been on Twitter long enough, you know that when you have a spicy idea, when you should actually hold that inside and save that for later. But I met some people, and like they're great. They're great at what they do. They're super into photography. They got the skill, they've got the eye, but like, I really could not sort of triangulate, like, was this person really into photography and wanted to make that into a career, and the only way to really do that is become a sort of pop photographer? Or is the easiest mechanism, or is an established path to be a photographer personality on Instagram if your aim is Instagram fame? And that's what I really wanted to like find out, because it's really difficult to tell. There's this, are you guys familiar with like this cohort of young photographers on Instagram that are doing like the feet sticking out of the tent shot, like on a foggy mountain?
Yeah, I don't follow any personally, but I know of them. Yeah, just like adventure photographers, sort of.
Adventure photographers, yes. So this really came from a place of like old man yelling at cloud.
Yeah,
and I really didn't want to put that out there because like it just doesn't work. It's too complicated. It's even more like I don't have my head around it. Like I don't actually know what artistic integrity means. Since then I've looked up some stuff in terms of like literature talking about artistic integrity and like whether the term actually even applies in this context. But the that question and that division between like, I want to talk about this, and I feel like my Twitter account when I was first tweeting for the first time, I think I absolutely would have tweeted about this and gotten really constructive responses that were like, yeah, like it's interesting, let's talk about what artistic integrity actually is. Like now it would be a shitstorm of people just being like, look at this, A, hater, B, let me actually you as hard as I possibly can with this or that. It just doesn't lead to any place like good.
Yeah. So do you feel like Daryl Sweatt could have said that?
No, I feel like my real Evan Rogers account,
that one,
should talk about that.
Yeah,
that's the thing. It's like that is too big of a concept for Twitter with the public. Like there's no way to do it well.
It's really hard. Anytime I get into a conversation with someone where it's like we have any sort of argument, it never feels like we can ever get anywhere. I heard somebody say that you should be able to jump on a phone call whenever you get into an argument on Twitter, that you should be able to like talk to each other on the phone really quick.
Ooh, that'd be cool.
Some sort of quick audio connection. Because sometimes I can't get this all out in a tweet, and you need to be like, you need to hear their inflection and the way they're saying it. Like, I think, do you know what I mean?
Dude, trust me. One problem I've had that's a very like just logistical and practical problem is that like you engage in a Twitter rant, right? So like you've got your first thread, you've got your second thread. Someone is like you're typing up your third one, and already the notifications are coming in of people being like, I disagree as hard as I possibly can. You're like, I haven't even finished my goddamn thought yet.
Mm-hmm. I'm not as popular as you, so I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't really get any love on Twitter. So thread. I don't even know what you're talking about with threads. I've only ever had the one.
But yeah, I know. Like, so I think all you're saying is like, in real life, I love to just like basically this to go back to your question about why I like Anchor. I do just like bullshit conversations. Like, I worked at like a lot of pizza places, and one of my favorite things was just like standing around, just talking about whatever with just coworkers, just killing time.
You should start another podcast that's like pizza chat, or like some kind, like someone doing like a pizza shop, like you just like, you know, just spinning some dough.
Yeah. So I like bullshitting, and you know, like I'll say things that are facts that I haven't confirmed are true. Like I maybe remember this from a podcast, but I don't know. My friends in real life don't expect me to have fact checked everything I say. But unfortunately, on the internet, since it's like a permanent record, it's almost shameful if you haven't fact checked everything you're going to type.
It's absolutely shameful.
And so,
it's 100% shameful.
But it's not as if like communication over Twitter is not real. You want to be able to have a dialogue and a back and forth on the internet without the expectation that everything you say is like credible. You know, I think that's what you're saying, right? Like you want to be able to have a conversation without like first having Googled every single thing you're going to say.
Yeah. Well, that'd be great. But also, like, you know, it's just this thing. It's like, you know, I wanted to talk about it because I sort of wanted someone to chime in and be like, actually, this is the like canonical definition of artistic integrity. Like, and you know, like there's this notion that you could get better educated through social media. Like that the dialogue that you would have with people would enlighten you in some way, right?
Yeah.
Now it's difficult to do that. It doesn't happen very often. Only for, you know, it's really only applies when like you don't know exactly how to Google something and you need search suggestions, more or less. Like it boils down to that sort of. But like, yeah, bigger
you thought
concepts.
That you had enough of an audience that you could say something imperfect and have somebody recognize that what you're trying to say and like correct you. Or like
for sure, yeah.
You felt like you had enough that you wanted to sort of like put something out there and then be corrected. You thought you were probably wrong. Maybe.
I mean,
or no?
I would say that like
you were willing to believe you were wrong.
At least from my standpoint, I'm pretty much banking on the idea that like, well, I mean, it's pretty binary. Like I either know that I have done the research or I don't know that I've done the research. So in the case where I don't know, where I haven't done the research, very much erring on the side that I'm wrong. You know, but
in your perfect world, one of your followers would reply to you with some specific knowledge that would like
exactly, yeah. Yeah, and I think that also like the other thing is that, you know, like I said, this person that I was talking to was a really cool person. They had a good eye, and my question really came from a place of like, you know, where does the Instagram influencer begin and the photographer end? You know, like not that it's necessarily
like a photographer, but they're like an Instagram like.
Well, that was their goal, I would say. I think that's pretty like straight.
What was their goal?
I mean, I feel like it's like so hard. That's just like a question with no answer because it's like, you remember that guy at Cobra Snake? Wasn't that his name? I don't know. Terry Richardson? Is that what his name? I don't remember. Is he the guy that took like the flash photography, put photos of people, and like really they weren't good, but they were like oftentimes of like sexy famous women, and it's so you're just like, are these good photos or are these just sexy people?
Yeah.
And so that's what I feel like that's sort of the question. It's like you're asking is like, are these good photos or are you trying to make yourself a sexy or aspirational person? And I think it's always like, you know, you can't really separate the two.
Well, you can't separate the two, but what I think you can do is you know, approach this practically, right? Like if you like, we know a couple things happened, right? Like there were professional staff photographers in the 80s and 90s and earlier, but like up until the 80s and 90s, and now you don't have staff photographers anymore. And a staff photographer is obviously different than an art photographer, but in either case, the market is hypersaturated with images right now. That's just the disruption of the internet provided. So if you do love photography and you're looking for work, like there is no better way to get it than to be on Instagram. Like people will DM you trying to commission photo shoots, like that is definitely the tool of choice. So from that standpoint, like there's really not a discussion to be had. The implication of artistic integrity isn't even there because you're using it as a practical tool. But in terms of like developing an aesthetic, developing a style, I think these things are incredibly important for young photographers to be thinking about. If you are approaching this problem of how to develop your skills and how to develop your style from a social media strategy standpoint, I think that does really seriously influence the work that you're producing, and not for the better, unfortunately.
I guess I understand what you're saying, but the thing I always go back to about any sort of like constriction of art is just like that thing about the record, where like the record came out and you could fit like 3 or 4 5 minutes on one side.
Mm-hmm.
And so that sort of led to like people just writing 3 and 5 minute songs. Like the normal song was always thought of that you needed to be able to fit it on a record. And so like that technology constriction, didn't really ruin art. Like there were a lot of good songs that fit in that spot. And our pop songs are still around that time. I guess I just look at
sort of the thing that I
probably agree with you.
We talked about how cool the vlogging format has become, like the vlogging and editing format, like how just weird and cool that is. That's just an emergent format that is just coming out of all these people who are doing it, right? It's awesome. But, do we see that same thing happening in photography? Like, do we see it? That's the question I want to ask. And, that was what I realized.
So.
That's what I realized is like the question I actually wanted to get to was just not fully formed. And that's why you don't tweet about it.
So you just wanted to, basically the whole thing is you just wanted an account where you could speak off the dome and not worry about like the response. You have people that you felt safe talking to.
Yeah, they're the people that well, first of all, let me tell you one thing. Open up a private account that actually gets your like real friends to follow it, and the number of spam accounts that will try and add you is incredible.
Really?
Yeah, because you can't really see, like, unless you're some kind of psychopath, getting a notification for every person that follows you is not a good idea. So people tend to ignore it or disable it. But once you can see every single one and you have to approve every single one,
yeah,
bro, it's wild out there. Makes me really question my 5,500 Twitter followers.
No, I'm pretty sure I have like 10% of the actual followers there. Like I have around like 600, I want to say. I think I probably have 90.
Yeah, which is good. The other thing that I just wanted to like mention here is that like having that account, like Daryl, I think is going to be a very interesting thing to work with here in the next few months. But like the private account was one of the best things I ever did in terms of like the
How long have you had this private account? About a week now?
About a week now.
And you feel like what's different?
Just the stuff that I would tweet about. Like when you are addressing potentially a room of 5,500 people, in my case, doesn't feel great. Doesn't feel safe all the time.
Yeah.
It definitely doesn't feel fun all the time either. Because I'm saying, like you can't have a conversation off the dome. You have to really curate, as your follower count goes up, your responsibility to curate what you're saying also goes up. At least I would hope.
Yeah, it has to be more for the masses. You have to think about all the different people that are going to hear this.
Yeah. And that's the thing is like the private people know me personally for the most part, or have been followers of mine on Twitter for like a super long time. But there are probably tons of people who just saw, and in fact, this is the case. When the Galaxy Note came out, I did a camera comparison test that went somewhat viral, at least by like Android scale. And, the people that came out of the woodwork, like, bro, that was not good. That was just like, That was unpleasant. You don't want anything to go viral. That's nuts. You don't want that to happen.
So I mean, in general, I mean, yeah, well, you want to say something, Zach?
So, like, what was the first like tweet from your like after you had like a personal account? Like, would you just like, I don't know, did you just have to like?
Are you just asking what his first tweet
Yeah,
was?
yeah. I was just like, I just want to know what your first tweet was for your personal account. Like, was it like, I don't know.
This is the real me.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, it was really practical. Like, because there's a practical problem, which is that like you don't know if someone is just making a parody account,
Right.
and so.
Oh, so it was like this isn't a joke or something.
Yeah, let me just see really quick. That's something that I found was really important. Oh yeah, my first tweet was, yes, this is actually me, Evan. This is a private account for real homies only.
Okay. I was just like, I was kind of comparing it to like, you getting you have like your separate account, like your parents can't see. So you just go on there and you just like, fuck shit. Like, yeah.
Oh yeah. God. No, my real thing. Dad follows me on Instagram, and like the day that my dad figures out how to click on the Instagram stories balloons at the top is the day I stop posting Instagram stories.
Yeah, actually our dad just started recently posting like Instagram like pictures. Like he has really very limited knowledge of it, but like he knows that's what everyone else is doing. So like he's been like posting like random like pictures and videos.
I will say my dad actually has a pretty hype Instagram account for like a 56-year-old.
Damn. Yeah.
He posts pictures of his bread making experiments, and
cool.
He's got like 120 followers.
Damn, not bad.
Those hashtags, guys. Like he's flexing.
Oh, does he?
Yeah, that oat, that flour, those baking goods hashtags, and people are in it. They love baking on Instagram.
Oh, that's true. There's a big food culture is huge on Insta.
Hell yeah. And he loves it. He's got his little like.
So he makes breads?
Well, he's an engineer. He has a degree in geology, and he works at he used to be an explosives engineer, but he sort of retired from the explosives industry. And
now he's just blowing up breads.
Now he's blowing up breads, guys. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, he's like a safety manager or a safety engineer at a couple different factories down in Tennessee. But in the off season, he's bringing that engineering knowledge to pastries. Let me tell you, he's cool. Got like a temperature controlled. Like he took this. This is the coolest. Like you have to keep all the dough has all these different phases, and each phase needs to have this like certain temperature. And so he's got this like timer and temperature controlled little like hot box that you keep the dough like samples in, or like, I don't know, starters, whatever the hell. Yeah. And he's just got it down to a literal science. And, I just think there's a lot of brand potential there. Got to get that in on the brand.
Where could we follow this? Where could we follow this bread guy at?
Is at Jayroj, Jayrege.
Cool.
On Instagram.
Check it out.
I'm definitely looking forward to some fresh content.
Some bread shots. Hashtag.
Quick question on that. What brands are you going to reach out to for?
It's
Daryl Sweatt.
Jayroj 714. I have no idea.
Okay, cool. Jayroj 714.
Yeah, please do not comment on his pictures if you're listening to this and you decide to.
I mean, pictures. They can comment.
I mean, maybe just only positive comments. Like, I don't know. Like, but like, I mean, any interaction. I mean, he's gonna get some more followers.
Yeah.
Listen, what it is I'm just afraid that his brand is stronger than mine. I just don't want him to out-hype me.
This is part of your team.
Exactly. But what were you gonna say, Rondo?
What brands are you courting?
What brands am I courting? I feel like there should be like a joke, like a comedy, like jokey answer for this. But like, if I was actually going to do this with any sort of seriousness, I would probably go for backpack and bag brands.
Why?
I'm just a bag slut. I love bags. Let me just tell you. I have a closet that's like halfway full of just different types of bags.
That's cool.
And I love each and every one of them. I use them. I actually rotate through them all. They're not like abandoned bags. Like I use them all the time
I
because
guess that's some good Daryl Sweatt content.
That is good. Bag slut. Like you gotta take advantage of that. Like bag slut should be like one of your main hashtags.
I agree 100%. But the thing is, it's like, you're going somewhere. You don't want to just like take a bag that's too big. You have a bunch of dumb empty space.
Yeah,
and then like you got to optimize the bag guy.
I like that. That's cool. I don't have enough bags, so
nobody has enough bags.
I would love to see some examples and maybe expand
definitely.
my bag collection.
I would say my favorite bag for the summer season is it's like a micro duffel bag. I got it at a there's specifically in the where is it? It's like on East Houston. There's this little store that sells only military bags and like weird variants of each. And this micro duffel is like a perfectly round duffel bag, but it's like the size of a medium-sized cat. Literally the perfect bag to take all your summer stuff in. It's black, very discreet.
Your t-shirts, your towels, your sunscreen.
Your sunglasses.
So you're telling me this is like a perfect cylinder?
Pretty much, yeah, actually, yeah.
Is that like something you look for in bags?
Do I look for perfect cylinders?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's got a pretty good aesthetic, honestly. I wouldn't say that I look for uniform shapes, but I do love the simplicity.
If you would have asked me what I look for in bags, I wouldn't have said perfect cylinders until just now. But I think that is something I look for in bags.
Ronnie, I don't know what you call him. Ron, I call him a bunch of different things. Ronnie, Ronald. What do you call him? Rondo, Grando. Yeah, I guess everyone calls you Grando. Yeah, okay. But yeah, Ron likes a lot of straps on his bag. He did say that. I don't know. How do you feel about that?
Oh, how do I feel about straps?
Yeah,
I mean, first of all, I would love to know what Rondo thinks about straps. But yeah, Rondo, do you tell the world straps?
I actually don't know if I like. I have a bag.
You said that you like
bags
that have lots of straps hanging, but they're like hanging. So there's a lot of spaghetti hanging from the bag.
I guess I just like that. It's just kind of like a lot of dangly things.
A lot of flair, like hanging flair.
I will say that, it really bums me out when I'm caught out. This is the thing that I think maybe only happens to New York City people, maybe, but when you're caught out somewhere and you have a tripod with you and your dumb bag for some reason has no tripod straps on the side, it's very annoying.
Yeah.
But I would dive deeper into this, Rondo, because that's sort of like a tech wear aesthetic.
What?
Do you have any interest in tech wear?
What do you mean by tech wear?
Yeah.
So it's just it's really practical. So there's a lot of pockets and right. So it's techie because there's something.
Tech wear. If one of you has a laptop, just visit, put into Google acronym clothing.
Acronym.
Yeah. This is what tech wear. Tech wear is a category of dumb men's fashion that I love. I am extremely into it.
Hold on. I'm checking right now. We have to wrap this up pretty soon because it's been an hour, so I feel like nobody's going to listen to this if it's much longer than an hour. Sorry, guys. I hope you got something out of it.
I'm definitely down to rap, but also I listen to incredibly long podcasts. I don't know if other people.
Not even anything. The hour marker isn't anything to you.
I'm not joking. I'm not making a goof right now. I prefer a 3-hour podcast.
I guess you can get really deep. It's true. A conversation that lasts 3 hours is a pretty thorough one. That's about how long a good conversation takes, maybe.
Yeah. I like it. Usually it's broken into like three pieces. There's sort of like the podcast I listen to, a lot of them have very similar formats, where they'll have like a general response time, they'll have a news segment, or like they'll go over some stories, and then they'll go over email. So it's broken up into three different things, keeps the flow going, but it's still long.
So we just pulled up acronym clothing. I'm just looking at this guy wearing like the most ridiculous shorts I've ever seen. Just like
this is like what I was saying. Remember the hoodie I bought that with like the long back, and I said it looked like a fuckboy ninja.
Yeah. Kind of the same vibe.
Yeah, it's like I do like that look though. When I was wearing it, I was like, that is I don't mind the fuckboy ninja look.
Yeah, it is cool. Yeah, this stuff just this stuff does look very similar to his main book bag, which does have a lot of straps.
Yeah,
but I will say that
there you go.
It's a great book.
Techwear. Look.
What am I looking for here? I hate these Nikes.
No. I'm just
they're terrible.
Oh, the new.
They're like yellow.
God, what are they?
Speckled. Or they're black and they're like speckled with yellow. I don't know. They look like something to wear on the moon. We're getting really.
So I just. I mean, listen, guys. I could talk about this all day, so it's up to you. Like, if you guys want to
talking about, I like talking about style and clothes.
The only thing is, like, I just feel bad for the people listening that they can't.
No, usually at this point, like in mine or Ryan's podcast, we usually like have the listener tune out at a certain point because they're like we
don't know what to talk about anymore. We just need to have a regular conversation to see what we're doing that day. You can
got it.
Tell the listener to tune out now. Let's just have a regular conversation.
Yeah, we're just talking about clothes now.
That's a good policy. I really like that.
Right now,
I mean, I think that the listenership is down.
So what's up?
We're riffing. What's up?
You just smoked a bowl before we got here?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
What, are you talking
no
one
would do that, especially 3 days after 420. That's completely illegal. But what I am wondering about is, like, I want to know who has $4,000 for acronym clothes.
Oh, is that how much they are?
Like, who is? Oh yeah, absolutely. I think this jacket. How much is this jacket? This jacket is 850 euros.
If you give us a shout out on Daryl's page, we could probably hook you up with some merch.
There you go. Yeah, Gore-Tex. This is $2,000. This is a $2,000 jacket.
I think there's just like a lot of rich people that we never meet.
Well, here's the question: when the eventual uprising happens, but all the fuckboy ninjas like literally have ninja shit like this, like, oh god, man, we're not going to stand a chance.
It's going to be so lame if all the rich people. Are you really think there's going to be a violent uprising though?
Absolutely not. To not have that is like the whole point of the U.S.
But it seems like it's brewing. It seems like everybody wants it to happen.
Well, oh god. Well, that's not great. You don't really want that to happen. There's a lot of.
But I'm telling you, I talked to so many people last year at the RNC in Cleveland. I interviewed so many people on the street.
DNC.
It was the RNC,
not the DNC.
No.
Okay.
But I interviewed so many people, and they were all like, things have got to get worse before they get better, and they all kind of like hinted at like there needs to be some sort of huge fucking war.
Yeah, I've heard that before. I feel like
and like that's the only way things are going to change, because that's what people fucking want.
I mean, people think they want that, but I think like, we're looking at these clothes right now. Like, listener at home, like, I've got this screen pulled up of a guy in like a techno warrior jacket. Like, what would go amazingly well with this jacket is a fucking AR-15.
Yeah, it does look like that.
And like, it's a cool fantasy, and that would be a really awesome photo shoot, right? But you don't really want that. If that's what you're thinking about right now, if you're thinking about shaving your head and getting a really long techno ninja jacket, just think about that world
You
you
know
might be
who I think
creating.
might be a prepper and somebody who's like looking forward to the day and who is a YouTuber?
Oh no, who is it?
Maybe Jake Paul. That's just off the top of the dome. But the other guy I was really thinking of is the King of Random. Have you heard of that guy?
I have heard of that guy.
You gotta check him out.
I
I swear he's a prepper, and I swear I can just imagine him killing me, like in the post-apocalyptic world, just seeing me as like just another guy in his way, killing me without a feeling.
Well, I really like this idea of YouTubers specifically as militant preppers. That is there's a lot of material there to work with. Because like it'd be very tribal. People would have to find their alliances. They're like, oh shit, now I have to decide whether I'm a Logan Paul or a Jake Paul.
Yeah, they would all probably be vlogging it too, being like, "Isn't this crazy, guys?"
But you got to inspire the people. You got to be a leader and get the people behind your cause. And what better way to do that than a dominant tech platform?
Let's wrap this up and let me ask, what's Daryl Sweatt going to be doing? What's some content that Daryl Sweatt might do in the post-apocalyptic YouTube world?
In the post-apocalyptic YouTube world, I'm still gonna say bags.
Bags.
That's what it's. You're gonna have to carry a lot of provisions around with you because public transportation is not gonna work very well. And I think that there's really a lot of bag potential there. But in the non-YouTube apocalyptic world, you're going to see a lot of inspiring prose from Daryl here in the future, probably overlaid on some photography with a medium opacity gradient and a signature that's going to be really amazing. Wow, just wow, powerful stuff, guys.
Are you trying to inspire yourself with Daryl Sweatt, maybe?
I mean, yeah, I am trying to inspire myself to create fucking some artwork here.
So
do something. Get out there.
I don't know if I have an.
But also, doing YouTube is soul crushing. So that's just not a good way of doing it.
All right. Well, let me know. Like, get back on here sometime soon. Let me know how it's going. We could do some updates.
Right on. All right. Thanks, guys.
Follow us on the social media. Rate us in Apple Tunes. What's Apple Tunes called now?
Apple Podcasts.
Rate us in Apple Podcasts.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Bye.